Beep, 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 beep. Welcome to the court of the EDI Jester. How are you? What? I've lost the plot this morning, right? Can't get my words together. Didn't have a good night's sleep. It happens, doesn't it? When you feel knackered. Constantly knackered. That's the words. Not looking forward to seeing my warrior teachers later. Always a good day when that happens. So, okay. What have we got for you today? Well, we're looking at the critic today. Diversity, equity, and exclusion. Here we go from the critic. This is a great piece from Freddie Attenborough, which was actually published on the 6th of September. So I'm absolutely overjoyed by this particular piece. It's got some good news in it, and we all like a bit of good news, don't we? Bit of good news. Good news week. Good news week. We like good news week, right? So here we go with a bit of good news for you. The Free Speech Union. Go on, Toby. The Free Speech Union racked up another significant legal victory at the Employment Tribunal last month, securing what promises to be a significant payout for a dyslexic Lloyd's bank manager sacked in a free speech row. Now, I've seen a few tribunals in my time, okay? I had a client once who every time they had to go to a tribunal and defend themselves used to go red from the neck up. It was like watching somebody fill a tube with glass with red wine. Like that, because she used to get so angry. Can't remember her name. Funny that, isn't it? Many years ago when I was involved in stuff like that. So let's have a look what Lloyd's Bank, have been up to, because this is utterly surreal on every level. But it shows what happens when organisations allow these wibblers into their organisations. They ruin you in the end. They'll ruin you in the end. And the guy's name is Carl Borg-Neil. He's 57. He was unfairly dismissed and subject to disability discrimination when Lloyd's Bank sacked him for using a racial slur during a workplace-based diversity training session. He is now likely to recover damages for past loss of earnings, future loss of earnings, a pensions award, compensation for discrimination, and compensation for personal injury, all amounting to a significant sum. And this is how it should work. It should be a significant sum. I've said this before. In July 2021, Mr. Borg-Neil was one of around 100 senior Lloyd's managers who logged on to an online training session entitled, wait for it, folks, here it comes, Race Education for Line Managers. Race Education. That's it's just terrible, isn't it? It's just terrible. Oh, Lloyd's Bank, what are you doing, you twats? Race Education for Line Managers. Provided by an external organisation, the training formed part of the bank's Race Action Plan. They've got a Race Action Plan. Quick! Put one together. We haven't got enough people of colour. What colour do you want? Purple. Find some purple people. Oh, there's a song in it. White horn, brown, purple people eater. Something or other. Anyway, that's what some nutter said this, right? What we need is you have to do a race action plan in order to make sure we've got the right mix of colours in the organisation. That's what that is, right? Just so you know, okay? Oh, race education for line monitor, part of their race education. Oh God! And it was launched. Want to take a guess? I'll give you 2 seconds. In the wake of the death of George Floyd, the previous year. This is going back a bit because obviously the case has only just been won. Carl had worked for Lloyd's Bank for 27 years without issue. They are making a run for their own back, aren't they? And had risen to a highly technical managerial role at head office. Far from being indifferent to racial equality, he had recently joined a new scheme mentoring young colleagues from ethnic minorities. So, yeah, right, okay, what are they doing that for? Was working with the 3 mentees, one of African descent, one of Asian descent, and one of European descent, non-UK. At the start of the session, the trainer read out a script that established the parameters for what was to follow. When we talk about race, people often worry about saying the wrong thing. I don't. Talk to me about it. Right, the wrong thing. She said, please understand that today is your opportunity to practice, learn, and be clumsy. Practice, learn, and be clumsy about what would be my first question. And what the hell are you teaching people that they've got to behave as if they're just learning to ride a bike as a child? So you're not educating, you're indoctrinating. Am I right? Have I got that right? Come on, dear, tell me. Have I got it right? At a relevant point during a subsequent discussion on intent versus effect, which intent versus effect, right, is an attempt to justify somebody else's offence taking. Okay? So what they're saying is it's the offence of the individual that matters, not what you said. So it's their anti-free speech, yeah? You understand? Intent versus effect is the obfuscating language of the critical social justice warrior cultists in saying that offending a person is far more important than the free speech. Right? That's what that is. So that's Lloyd's Bank introducing those kind of identitarian principles that we see from the communist left into an organisation that's devoted to the capitalist right. Lloyd's Bank. Bankers of the year. What's wrong with these people? So anyway, he decided, so he took the statement that the trainer made at face value and speak freely, because they said you can speak freely, you can be clumsy if you want to, yeah. Thinking partly about rap music, he asked, how as a line manager, he should handle a situation where he heard someone from an ethnic minority use a word that might be considered offensive if used by a white person. Met with puzzled look from the trainer. Imagine, somebody who actually expects the trainer to have some background and thinking in this, yep. He added the most common example being the use of the N-word, in the black community. We've seen that. You've only got to listen to the music. It's all get down booties, and it's part of their culture. Carl didn't receive a response to his clumsy question. In fact, he was angrily berated by the trainer. He tried to apologise for any offence, but was told if he spoke again, he would be thrown off the course. They are little fascists, aren't they? Ooh, it's the totalitarian, authoritarian, fascistic communists. It's all there, isn't it? They're like the gathering of all the worst parts of the 20th century into this little person who sits at the end of the screen, like some mini Stalin, dictating stuff. Go on. Other managers on the course complained that Carl's question never received an answer. Indeed, anonymous feedback collated after the session suggests the trainer's behaviour was not particularly well received. I was shocked by the manner and tone used by one presenter to a colleague, said a respondent. After saying at the beginning this would be a safe environment and acknowledging we may make mistakes, she launched into a vitriolic attack. I believe Mr. Borgneel was trying to ask a valid question to aid understanding. After the course, the trainer claimed she was so offended by the use of the N-word that she was too sick to work and took 5 days off. Absolute grifters. And Lloyd's Bank are paying them money, thousands of pounds to introduce this equity grift. It was the fact that the trainer needed to take time off that triggered an investigation, with the bank subsequently accusing Carl of racism and launching a disciplinary process that led to his dismissal for gross misconduct. And after 27 years, his career lay in tatters. Don't think it could happen to you? Wake up and smell the coffee. Don't think it could happen to you? You best understand exactly what these people are and what this is about, because it's very, very real. Very real. The point being that the FSU, Free Speech Union, are doing great work. They took on Carl's case. And you'll find a lot more detail about the case in the link in the Dubris. Go and have a look, because it's worth a read. And it's a well-written piece as well. So just to give us a sort of rounding off point for this, really. Everyone at the FSU is delighted for Carl. The way he was treated by Lloyd is shocking and heartbreaking. Lloyd's Bank, what you doing? Not only was he lost his job where he had found he could excel in spite of his disability, but during the initial unnecessary lengthy disciplinary process and the legal battle that followed, his mental and physical health deteriorated. Remember, the process is the punishment. That's what these HR people will do. The process is the punishment. He developed depression, anxiety, and a host of physiological stress-induced conditions. Today, when he becomes anxious, he speaks with a pronounced stutter. They've hurt this man. Lloyd's Bank have hurt this man. That's what they've done. By employing race grifters and pretending that EDI is actually something worth having in your organisation, which it never is. It never is. It's too polluted. It's dead now. It's dead in the water. His victory does at least serve as an important reminder to employers of the importance of context when it comes to matters of workplace free speech. As per the ruling handed down in Carl's case, any given word or phrase in the EDI lexicon may well have an accepted dictionary definition. And yes, some of those meanings will be deeply unsettling to some employees. But when HR departments set out to ascribe certain meanings to ostensibly unsettling words uttered by employees in the workplace, they must now consider a host of other contextually relevant factors, including the speaker's intention, tone, style of delivery, and the specifics of the setting. As Mr. Borgneel's case so grimly demonstrates, to proceed otherwise is to curtail employees' speech rights and to cause a chilling effect on workplace dialogue and discussion around matters pertaining to equality, diversity, and inclusion. But it was nothing to do with equality; it was about equity. So but that's what they do, isn't it? They aren't what they say they are. It's all all over the shop, all over the shop. Listen, business, if you're a business, doesn't matter what, if you're Lloyd's Bank, or if you're, Mr. Smith's Engineering with 2,500 employees as opposed to Lloyd's Bank, which has got hundreds of thousands of employees, it makes no bloody difference. None. You need to design recruitment processes that will spot these lunatics. You can do it. I've done it. Already done it, right? So I've been working with a given group of folk, and we've come up with a recruitment process that allows you to spot these lunatics and not let them in the first place. That's how you do it, right? So we exclude them that way. We're not excluding them because they've got a belief in X, Y, Z. We're excluding them because they are anti-business culture. That's why, because you cannot be a believer in equity and successful in business. The two things are mutually exclusive, because obviously business and organisational development and all the stuff that's going on in the public sector depends on equality of opportunity. And you can't have equality of opportunity and equity. Can't have it. Sorry, not how it works. But there we go. And Lloyd's Bank, obviously, have not learnt that in the slightest. And this is what they did to an employee of 27 years. You don't think this stuff can come and get you? You're living in cloud cuckoo land. Get off the damn bench. I'll see you later.